Hello, it's Eden. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the topic of music. Specifically speaking, I wanted to talk about the kinds of music that you can listen to when you're trying to focus or study. So we all know how tricky it is to study in a room where there's lots of noise. Even now, currently, I'm sitting in the podcast room at the Armadale Library in Perth, and it's only a sound dampened room, so there is still sound going on around here. So if I were to pull out a book to try and absorb, and I mean really absorb, some of the information that was in it, it probably would be a little bit tricky. Oh well, a good way to solve this problem is to wear some headphones and put some music on. So I've got some headphones. Here we are. Thank you, Armadale Library, for all these beautiful things. I've actually been filming here for a little while and I haven't actually plugged you guys, so I'm sorry. But then by the time you guys find this, it'll probably be like 3 or 4 years in the future, and they'll be like, who is that strange girl who's just like coming in here and just pretending to record things? Okay. Alright. So a good way to solve a problem of too much noise in a room when trying to focus is to put on music. I think everybody has different tastes when it comes to music. I'm going to take you guys back to 2005. 2005 was the year I graduated high school, which means that I was in year 12 in Australia. So I was around about 18 and I was just determined to get a really high TER score. I really wanted to go to uni. I really wanted to study psychology, and I needed that TER. This is a pretty big deal for me. I put a lot of stress on myself because I was the type of person to stress just before an exam, and the stress would completely short circuit my brain. So I would just be stuck in an exam going, very traumatic time. Thanks for bringing it up. Anyway, so 2 weeks before exams were due to begin, I began cloistering myself. Away in an empty bedroom in my parents' house, and I began to study. I didn't have any particular music that I would listen to. I just listened to the music that I liked. The reason why I bring up this story is because had I had known back when I was 18 what I know now, I would have selected music that I knew would have impacted my brain in a positive way. Mind you, this was 2005, so the internet was kind of at the best of times. So it was more used for, let's see, what did I use the internet for back then? I used to download a lot of Sims skins. That's mostly what I would use the internet for back then. I wouldn't participate in the forums, no. Better things to do in my time. I'm just here for the skins, baby. So, now that I'm an adult and I can reflect back on hindsight, I'd like to give myself a piece of advice and also give you guys a piece of advice if you are struggling with selecting the music that you want to listen to while you study. I'm going to walk you through a few different types of music that you can listen to when you study and ultimately get the most out of your study session. So let's get into it. I'm going to use the term study, but this kind of logic can really be applied to anything that requires you to focus on a complex task. So let's get into it. There's a lot of information out there in terms of what you should specifically be listening to if you're trying to study or concentrate on a complex task. So I can give you 3 tips that you can follow whilst you're choosing your playlist, and here they are. So the first tip is to pick something that is within your taste of music and look for a beat that keeps your heart rate low and steady. So a very standard 4-beat song, but looking for songs that will put you in a nice calm, relaxed state. 2, you want to choose music that has no vocal track, or avoid music that has vocals in it. Vocals can distract you while you're trying to concentrate, especially if you've got things like a catchy hook that's being whispered in your ear by, some lyrical god or goddess. It's very hard because all you want to do is you want to sing the song, not focus on what's in front of you. So try and choose music that doesn't have a vocal track. There's plenty of compilations out there of CDs, grandma CDs, but there are plenty of compilations or playlists out there that you can find. If you're not on YouTube, you can probably head to Spotify. I haven't used Spotify because I'm a grandma, so but you'd be able to find playlists that have compilations of music that doesn't have vocals and is very nice, very relaxing, very gentle. Number 3, the third and final tip. Choose music that is not popular. So don't choose the latest music that gets you moving. Those kinds of songs are more for maybe an exercise playlist or 6 songs of success, like Eye of the Tiger. It's the Eye of the That's a good song that you would listen to before a job interview or before a speech that you have to give, or where you have to get up and show something where you've got to show energy, you've got to show commitment, you've got to show excitement into the thing that's getting you into it. So you want to listen to those kinds of songs before you want to do a high energy task. But for a low energy task, or at least a low physical energy task, because you'll be using your brain, not your arms and legs. So you don't want to be choosing music that's going to get you up, that's going to get you pumping weights and punching the air and cooking outdoors. So choose music that's not popular. Choose music that gets you in a nice, chill state of mind. Choose music that you can easily ignore, I suppose. Because at the end of the day, you want the music to be able to filter out everything that's going on around you. So those are my 3 tips. Now for some recommendations of the styles of music that you can listen to, especially if you're struggling to find a style of music. This will really help. I have a few different ones that you can choose from that I have cycled through over the years that I find to, let's say, be anecdotally helpful. The first one is nature sounds. Nature sounds like running rivers, crickets, birdies chirping, really nice wind blowing, just really nice, relaxing nature sounds. I used to work with a colleague that would actually write all of her assignments listening to the sound of a raging waterfall, and she said it calmed her and it helped her to relax and focus, which I thought was really neat. So nature sounds. The next one is classical music. Yes, I know you were probably expecting that one, so surprise. So classical music that isn't really too stimulating, so maybe not like Night on Bald Mountain, kind of stimulating, or infuriating, like Opus Number 1. Classical music is very good to listen to. Actually, there are certain kinds of classical music that activate the active and retention parts of your brain. I actually have a playlist that if you dig through on my channel, you'll be able to find, which is 1, active learning, and 2, I think it was just retention. I have to look that one up. But you can look at the active learning playlist. That there is a list of about 6 songs. I think it goes for about an hour and a half, and it's all just classical music. It's really nice to listen to, and it's also really good at keeping you focused. It's very good focus music. So classical music. The next one is a little more controversial. It is binaural beats. Binaural beats are 2 tones played in each ear of a slightly different frequency. Our brains pick up these tones and then process a sound that is at the difference of both of these frequencies. And this is what a binaural beat is. As an example, if you are hearing a sound in your left ear at a frequency of 132 hertz, and in your right ear, you're hearing a frequency of 121 hertz, your brain will just take the difference of these 2 tones And what you'll hear instead is a tone at 11 hertz, which is in addition to the 2 tones that are given to each ear. So it's the illusion of sound. It's sound therapy, is what it's generally touted as. And I can neither confirm nor deny that binaural beats are useful in sound therapy, as I only have my own experience with them to go by. And there are a lot of differing opinions on binaural beats. I like binaural beats though, because the tones that we hear are really nice to latch onto, because they are consistent long tones that don't change throughout the course of the track. A lot of binaural beats YouTubers will play things like a piano or, nice calming meditation music, and it will often just be at a loop. So after a while, your brain can pick up what the pattern of music is, along with the consistency of the binaural beat, and effectively tune it out. There's lots and lots of binaural beats out there. I do recommend that you check out. I'll name a few YouTubers below, the ones that I like, and you can listen to them for yourself. It's quite interesting. Binaural beats are fascinating. But that's binaural beats. Now, the next one is slightly a bit of a piggyback off of binaural beats, in a sense that I mentioned meditation music. So meditation music. Meditation music is usually made up of nature sounds, piano, violins, classical music, very nice chilled atmospheres that are created with this music. It's to give you the relaxation, or to give you the space you need to become relaxed so you can focus on what you need to do. The next one is, which I particularly like, is chill wave, or just instrumental music. An example of chill wave is the channel Chilled Cow, which just plays nothing but chill wave. Some beats that you can just listen to, study, relax, and yeah, Chilled Cow is awesome. If you're not a fan of chill wave, you can also listen to piano instrumentals from, you could also listen to soundtracks from movies that you like, but try to keep it nice and calm. You don't want to get revved up while you're studying, because if you get revved up, you're getting amped up, and that's the opposite of what you want. We want you to be in a nice, calm state where you can focus and absorb the information that you are processing, which is why it's very good for, complex tasks and studying. The last recommendation for music is actually no music. This is actually the best option out of all of them, because now your brain doesn't have to try and block out what's going on. It can just focus straight on what needs to be done. Some people do find it hard to study in a quiet room, and I am definitely one of those people, which is why I try to find music. Which music for me gives me a little bit of noise and a little bit of background, so it feels like my brain is working. And it also helps to really set the tone of the tasks that you're working on. So that's all I can think of in terms of styles of music. If you have any recommendations, just comment, let me know. I would be happy to add more to my list of things that I can listen to when I'm doing something important. So, on to the next part. What not to listen to. Our brains are incapable of focusing on 2 complex tasks at once. So now the first thing you're going to say is, but I can chew gum, and I can walk, and I can talk, and I can avoid obstacles, and I can do this all while I'm doing, moving forward in one direction. Yeah, definitely. But those are simple tasks. I'm talking about you're trying complex tasks like studying for an exam, or working on a project that needs your creative attention, or editing, or anything that requires more than an intuitive impulse. We are incapable of concentrating on more than one complex task at a time. Well, this is why I have issues whenever I see job adverts that say, yes, we love multitasking. It's like, you definitely don't want a candidate that can multitask, because nobody can multitask. It's just too high of an expectation to set on a candidate. But that's a story for another day. So if you like listening to podcasts, firstly, I have two. I have two podcasts, which is Beat Your Imposter and the Untitled Depression podcast. So you should listen to both of them. One. But if you like listening to podcasts, if you like listening to narrations, if you like listening to audiobooks or things of that nature while you are studying, if you like listening to these things while you are studying, you're actually doing your brain a disservice, because what your brain is trying to do is trying to absorb two possibly totally different pieces of information at once. So your brain will focus over here for a few seconds on the podcast, and then it will focus back on the work. But then you're going to miss what's happening on the podcast because you're looking at what's happening on the work. So then you've got to tune out and you've got to go back to the podcast to be able to listen to it again. Do you understand what I mean? Do you understand that if we are trying to listen to things like podcasts, narrations, audiobooks, things that require our attention, our solid attention, well, then we're not going to be able to focus on the work that we do need to do. If you like listening to that sort of stuff, then I recommend using it for things like your commute to work. That's a great time to listen to a podcast, especially if you don't drive. If you take the train, that's a perfect time to listen to a podcast or a horror narration or any of that cool stuff. If you are going hiking, if you are exercising or walking around, or even just chilling at home or outside, these are the perfect times to listen to this kind of material. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's all well and good to know about the types of music that I can listen to when I'm studying, but how do I use the music for maximum effectiveness? It's like, okay, I can help you there too. So, for example, you're probably wondering, how loud should I listen to my music? The most effective volume for your music needs to be just above your outside distractions. Just enough for your brain to focus on that pattern rather than the chaos that's going on around you. You might be wondering, how often should I listen to music? And can I listen to the same songs over and over? Well, I'm going to tell you, yes, you can. You can pick one piece of music, a song that you really like, an instrumental, and it goes for 10 minutes, but you play it on loop over and over again. And you immediately recognize the music, immediately recognize the pattern, and then just block it out completely, which is awesome, right? Some experts often recommend listening to the same piece of music when doing a particular task, because the music acts as a cue, as an auditory cue for your brain to go, aha, that's what we're working on. So that's pretty cool, huh? So that's all the information I can think of or pull out of my brain right now that pertains to what type of music you should be listening to when you're focusing or studying. I feel sometimes that having a quiet room is much more effective than any music, because when you're in a quiet room, your brain doesn't have to work to block out any distractions. I hope you enjoyed my video today. I did enjoy making it. This was a script I wrote months ago, and I just haven't had a chance to sit down and talk to you about it. So what types of music do you listen to? Do you listen to binaural beats? Do you like to chill out on chilled cow like me? Do you like nature sounds like my colleague? Or do you just like good old-fashioned silence? I think they're all valid options at the end of the day. Whatever it is, you do you, you know? Yeah. So thanks for tuning in. I am currently putting a lot of focus into finishing up my podcast, which is Beat Your Imposter, and also start my latest, make more, and also continue with more episodes of my podcast, the Untitled Depression podcast. I do want to put more videos up, and I will continue to do more videos. I just haven't had inspiration to do any cooking without instructions or baking without instructions videos. As always, like, share, subscribe, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I'll see you next time. Ta-ta.